Smite 2 is the focus of Hi-Rez's newly streamlined operation. Realm Royale, Hi-Rez Studio seems to be conducted layoffs this week. Nearly 30 employees at the time of writing revealed they were impacted on social media. That's all that was given, unfortunately, I guess, right? But it ends the development of 3 games. And what were those 3 games? Are they here anywhere? Thanks for not having the 3 games in there. That's helpful. It doesn't have the 3 games. I'm assuming it's like Realm Royale, Paladins, and maybe Smite 1? Smite 1 is probably, oh shit, a Smite contract creator? Contract, not content. Also claims that the layoff have affected 50 to 60 employees. At the time of writing, Hi-Rez has not responded to our request for comment. Smite and Realm Royale developers, yeah, seem to be, so minimum, about 60. Oh, it's Smite 1, Rogue Company, and Paladins. Oh yeah, I forgot about Rogue Company. That is their game. But as you see here, the last one, that's the one that really matters to me. Paladins. Now, as far as I know, servers are not shut down yet, but the game is no longer getting any active support. Let's watch this YouTube video of this guy. Maybe he knows more and we can chat about it on top of it. This would be the second game in like a month that I think is kind of cool in concept to die. Multiverses is cool in concept, but I don't think it's a good game. Paladins is actually very old. Paladins is as old as Overwatch 1. So the fact that it had support for this long, had console editions for PS4, Xbox One, and for the Switch version was removed. It had a good run. I'm not going to act like the game didn't have a long life, but it is sad to ever see a game's life come to an end, if I'm completely honest.
When it's over, till it's actually over. You never know when you've logged in and played that final match until after the fact, until it's already done, until it's too late and there's nothing you can do.
Unless the developers tell you when the game is being sunset and then you go play the final match. I played the last game I could of Rumbleverse before the shutdown. They were shutting down the servers at like 1 a.m. and I played until like 12:48.
To go back. Paladins.
I'd be working morning.
Officially, Paladins is dead. Paladins will not be receiving any more updates. Everyone at Evil Mojo has been fired.
Oh shit! The entire Evil Mojo team has either been relocated to other studios or laid off. Holy shit! I wonder how many employees Evil Mojo was total.
Moved to Smite 2. This is not a drill. This is real, and I gotta say I'm shocked. Earlier this year, I made a video about how I probably need to transition over to a different game, most likely Deadlock, if Paladin Season 8 doesn't do well. I stuck around for Season 8. I covered the Season 8 update. It did alright as far as the channel is concerned, and when you take a look at the Steam numbers, Paladins really didn't gain any players from it. But
it didn't gain any players, but it didn't really actively lose any players. One thing about Paladins is it had a very core audience, and it wasn't a big one, but it was a pretty, like, it was sizable enough to keep the game afloat if people actually put money in it, right? And a thing that you have to think about is people talk about the Steam charts of these games that are full crossplay. My brothers in Christ, I know it's the only number we have, but you have to probably add another 20% on top. Minimum, right? So, like, yes, this isn't the biggest game in the world at 2,400 players, but it's not the smallest either. That's actually relatively good in comparison to other games that are around its age, right? Around its age. This game is like, I want to say almost 10 years old now. We're in 2025. This game came out of, went into open beta in like 2016, 2017. This game is very old. So for it to have a player base at all, especially one of that caliber, is pretty good. I can look at the Halo Infinite Steam charts in comparison, and I bet you the Halo Infinite Steam charts are going to look about the same. There's going to be about 2,000 or 3,000 players online, and this game is newer. It's a bigger budget. Why is it even close? Why is it even close? This game has way more name recognition, has a bigger studio behind it, has Microsoft behind it, has way more brand staying power, and yet, even a smaller peak, right? So because it's had a smaller peak, it's something to think about with Paladins is that it's always been a more niche version of other games. I think Hi-Rez does that on purpose. They make these niche versions of games that already exist, or maybe not niche, but they make the niche version of them, right? The game genre exists, and they're like, ooh, we should go copy that game genre. We should make our own hero shooter. We should make our own tactical shooter. We should make our own arena fighter, right? Like, we should make our own MOBA. That's Smite. That's Paladins. That's Rogue Company, and that's Divine Knockout. Not to also mention the fact that they had Realm Royale, which is just a battle royale, and they made it to capitalize off of Fortnite.
But at least it didn't lose players from it either, right?
Yeah.
But I guess that was the final straw for Hi-Rez, and they decided to pull the plug. And every single game that's not Smite 2 is just done. Smite 2 is the only project they care about. Paladins will still have its servers operational until it is no longer profitable to keep the servers up. They'll probably still be selling skins. The game will probably still be up for at least another year, if I had to say, although can't really be certain of a timeline on that, but Rogue Company has been up for over a year without updates, so
Yeah.
who knows how long Paladins will last. But
I was gonna say Rogue Company and Divine Knockout. Divine Knockout hasn't had an update in already like 2 years, I think. It's been almost 2 years. They didn't even have a lot of updates before they stopped updating Divine Knockout. It was actually very weird.
yeah, this is the last update for Paladins. Like, Season 8, that's it. There's nothing. New ranked season? Nah. I mean, it's here, but what's the freaking point in grinding it anymore when Hi-Rez doesn't even care about their game? What's the point in buying skins anymore if we're not going to get updates for the game anymore, if balance problems aren't going to be addressed? This is the final balance state for the game, too. It's sad. And it's especially sad because the people at Evil Mojo, the actual developers working on the game, they truly care about it. I am a Paladins partner, as you guys know, and that means I have access to the Paladins partner program server on Discord, where we partners get to interact in a more personal.
Saying that they care about it, but then they partnered with a company that they knew wouldn't. They were under an umbrella company, right? Hi-Rez, like not trying to get out from under that company to be able to keep their game alive. Did you care enough? It's not about did you care. It's about did you care enough. Because if you want your game to survive, you don't just say, "Oh, well, we're being relocated. Hi-Rez owns this game." Why did they have the rights? Why didn't Evil Mojo have the rights? Evil Mojo didn't have the rights because they didn't care enough and they didn't fight for that in original negotiations. And that's one of the things that fucks you up when you make a live service game. The developers of Rumbleverse, Iron Galaxy, did not have the rights originally to Rumbleverse. But when they split from Epic Games gave them the rights to Rumbleverse. So they could try to shop the idea around if they want and if they think it could be profitable someday. But currently, doesn't look like it's coming back. But that's the difference. You see how they actually own their IP? If Evil Mojo owned their IP, they could just say, no, we quit. We're actually just going to make a different studio. And then they could transfer the trademark to that studio. But instead, they're like, yeah, we want our jobs. We don't want to like lose money. And like, it's all about the green at the end of the day. Like my light, it's all about the green. Because they're fine with moving over to Smite 2 or maybe they're not fine with being laid off, but they're fine with moving over to Smite 2 if it means they get to keep their job. Their job is no longer even Paladins, and they're fine with keeping their job. The entire Iron Galaxy crew continued to try to push for Rumbleverse until the very second it was shut off. And now they own the rights to it. So if it's ever able to be put back online, guess who has it? Iron Galaxy. If this game dies, it's like something like Battleborn, it's gone forever. It's just gone because they don't own the rights to it. Hi-Rez does. Gearbox doesn't own the rights to Battleborn. 2K does.
Setting with the devs, we get invited to early play tests, stuff like that. And the devs were working on stuff, really cool stuff. I still don't know exactly if I can say what, but it was going to be cool.
The studio shut down. Just fucking talk about it. Who cares?
They did not know this was coming, so I do not want to see anyone going and hating on any of the Evil Mojo developers, whether it's Cryptic or Srixis or Feisty or whoever. Partially because they all just got laid off. Yeah, they didn't expect this to happen. There were going to be some cool things, and now that's all just gone because someone at Hi-Rez said, well, Smite 2 is the only thing we care about anymore. Paladins, nah, what's that?
I don't think that was an internal decision that was taken that lightly. For a game that's been online for as long as it has and probably made them at least enough money to stay afloat for as long as it has, I refuse to believe that this was like a drop of the hat one day decision. They had been looking at its numbers forever, and they had asked the Evil Mojo team, is there a way you think you can turn this game around and get it more players? Is there a way you can turn this game around and get it more players? For seasons upon seasons upon seasons, they probably asked. And Evil Mojo was like, hey, we're working on it. We're doing our best. It's like, well, you need to come up with results. And you tell your kid 5 times, hey, don't bring home a bad report card or you're going to be in trouble. And your kid comes home 5 different fucking semesters with bad report cards. And guess what? They get their phone taken away. They get their Game Boy taken away. They get their PS2 taken away. Well, I guess it's PS5 now. PS5, Switch, smartphone. They get those things taken away. Unfortunately, this is a little different because it's your job taken away or your job relocated to a branch where you don't really have the same passion for it. And that is, therein lies the biggest issue is now there's probably people working on Smite 2 who are way less enthusiastic and passionate about Smite 2. And that's also a damn shame for Smite 2 because Smite doesn't deserve that, just like Paladins doesn't deserve to be shut down. Everyone should care about what they're doing and want to do their job well.
That game. And, you know, I have to say, I saw the Smite 2 numbers on Steam. It looked like it was doing fine to me. It looked like it was doing pretty good as far as a high-res game is concerned, and that gave me hope for Paladins too. But now with this, I mean, it's never going to happen. We are living in the worst timeline, truly.
Paladins has always been more niche than Smite, though, right?
It's such a bummer. There's nothing more to be said about it. It's just really sad. So yeah, I guess I'm done. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Hi-Rez doesn't care about Paladins anymore, so why on earth should I make more Paladins videos and do more Paladins live streams? There's no point.
Because you like the game?
Genuinely. I mean, I did not expect...
I've played tons of games that I like that are live servers that nobody gave a shit that I was playing them, and people still don't give a shit that I play them. But I play them, I stream them because they're fun. Your job as a content creator, this guy's like probably got massive numbers. He's probably got really good numbers. So I'm sure, yeah, 72,000. Yeah, he's fine, right? He could pivot over to whatever he wants and probably find an audience. But the vast majority of his audience is there not because they, let's be real, like half your audience most of the time isn't there just for you. They're also there for you plus the game you play. They're like, oh, this guy's sick. This guy's really cool. He's very fun. He's personable. He's knowledgeable, entertaining, whatever it may be. Plus, he's playing the game I like. If a lot of these people in his community still want to see Paladins, don't leave Paladins behind. The game is still up. It doesn't matter that it's not getting actively new content. You can still play it. Boy howdy, if I could play the last patch of Rumbleverse right now and the game was still up, the servers were up, but there was no new updates, boy howdy, I'd still be playing that game. Get real. And if it was my job to do it, and I could continue to do it, and people continue to support the fact that I was doing it, hell yes, I would continue to do it. Abso-fucking-lutely. That might be the worst take I've heard from a really large content creator who more than likely builds his content off of the back of a video game. Paladins, specifically, right? Whenever that happens, if your platform is that big, and you stray completely away from it, your numbers are going to drop. You will be able to pivot, but it's going to take a long time. And sure, maybe the fact that the game is no longer supported is not the best thing in the world, but it's also not the worst because at least the game's still online. And you can still play the game that you love and have built your platform on. Some of us don't get to do that anymore. Some people literally cannot play the game that was supposed to be the game that was going to build their brand, build their platform, make them the content creator they wanted to be.
Expect Hi-Rez to make my decision for me about whether to stick around. So it is
time
to move on.
They didn't.
That previous Paladins video about Nyx is the last Paladins video I'll ever upload. Unless something changes in the future. Which is kind of sad for that to be my last video because it was an utterly pathetic video by my own standards. I even said as much in the description. I literally told you not to watch the video in the thumbnail. But that's it. That's the last Paladins video. And I guess, you know, just like Paladins itself, my Paladins career on YouTube ends with a whimper. Which is really sad to think about. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm not moving to Marvel Rivals. No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I'm going to be quite honest. After playing Paladins for as long as I have, I don't like Marvel Rivals. Every fight feels like it has to be won with the push or pull of an ult, whether it's a support ult or like an offensive ult, and I fucking hate it. At like higher levels of play, watching, I'm like, this shit is so boring. Yes, I'm bad, so when I play and when I like watch my friends play, they can just get kills because everyone's shit, right? But when everyone's actually grouped up and playing together and using like double support or triple support, you can't get picks. You don't get picks until someone engages with an ult. And you hope to God that the person who engaged with an ult has enough DPS to out DPS the support ult that's about to come from the other side. Or that you don't get counter ulted by the next character's ult. Like, and I can't say that. It's so boring to watch. It's so boring.
Anyone saying, I told you so. You should have moved to Marvel Rivals when you had the chance. No, I'm still not doing that.
Yeah, I don't like Marvel.
I'm not going to make content about a game that I just do not care about. So that's not it. I will probably be transitioning into Deadlock. Might take a little bit to get things sorted out, figure out how I actually want to approach this, and get a good flow going as far as Deadlock videos are concerned. But that's the game I realistically see myself moving towards at this time. I'll probably do a Deadlock stream on Friday, and we'll just go from there.
Oh no, this video is a little old. I missed his Deadlock stream.
And I expect views to drop, no doubt, because transitioning from one game that I've been doing for 8 years to a game that is completely fresh is difficult for any YouTuber. It'll
difficult for Twitch streamers too.
Result in a drop of views. I understand if you want to unsubscribe. I'll probably get a lot of people unsubscribing over the next couple of days. Paladins dies a very painful death.
I don't like the idea that we're saying Paladins is dead, but I let him go off. I let him cook. The servers are still up. The servers are still up. You can still actively play matches against other human beings. The game's not dead. The game is end of support. So, by that logic, every fighting game that has online working servers right now, along the lines of Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Soul Calibur 6, DOA 6, all these games are dead games by that logic. And I think that logic is terrible because you can still get on the video game and get an online game. You can still get into online matchmaking using the official servers or peer-to-peer of the client. And that's not a dead game. That's just a game with no support.
So yeah, I totally understand, but if you want to stick around for Deadlock content, then please do. If you haven't tried the game out, then I do recommend trying it out. It's a great game.
I don't like Deadlock.
Just keep an open mind. And sadly, it's not on consoles. Sadly, it's not even full release yet, so...
The only hero shooter I've liked in the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, the only hero shooter and MOBA I've liked in the past 5-6 years was Paladins, and before that was Battleborn. That's it. Like I don't like Deadlock. I don't like Marvel Rivals. I don't like Overwatch. I guess Star Wars Hunters, the Switch and phone game, is kind of cool. Like it's neat, but it's not good. It's just like, oh yeah, I can play this for like a quick burst of hero shooter action.
So it'll take
where do I go?
Time for everyone to get access to it. But hopefully, when it releases, I would assume later this year or maybe early next year. It'll be a very popular game, and maybe I can just ride that popularity curve up. That's what I've been thinking. But it's going to be a very difficult time here for me. It's a very difficult time for the Evil Mojo developers, too, who all just got laid off. So it's a really awful situation for everybody. And yeah, it just sucks. There's literally nothing more to say about it. My favorite game has just been effectively shut down. So if you want...
No, it's not shut down. It's end of support. The reason why I'm harping on that so much is because right now, if you love Paladins, you can still play Paladins. Maybe it's not your favorite patch. Maybe it's not your favorite meta. Okay? But the game is still up. You still have access to the characters, the skins, the stages, the music, the modes, the game. You still have access to it, and you gotta not take that for granted as much as you can, because Multiverse is gonna shut down at the end of its next season, and when it does, the servers are offline. You cannot play offline matches anymore. The game will only be accessible in a local multiplayer avenue, When X Defiant shuts down, it will no longer be available at all to anyone. The servers will be shut down. That is what the word shut down means. That is what the word dead game means. This game is not dead. It's end of support. But if the servers are still up, enjoy the game you love and ride it out till the end. There's no reason to stop playing. Keep on trucking. What are you doing?
Want to support me and support the channel and help keep me going through these turbulent times as we transition the channel forward into other content, new horizons. At the very least, please consider liking videos, subscribing, leaving comments. That always helps videos do well in the algorithm. And yeah, that's cool. That's the least you can do. But if you want to help even more, then there's the memberships program. There's the subscriptions on Twitch, all that type of stuff. That really helps too. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Well. Another game completely axed, but at least in a little more humane of a way. I'm not particularly happy about it, like I said. Like I'm a former Paladins player. I don't play it as much as I used to. But I like the game enough to know that if I could keep it around longer and have more support, that'd be awesome. Because that's someone's favorite game. But realistically, with a new developing game coming, Smite 2, knowing that your options are push Smite 2 as much as possible or keep dragging along the dead weight, I can understand why Hi-Rez did what they did. Because if the game is only barely skating by and not really making them money, they're basically just skating even, keeping the servers up, when instead they could move those people over to a game that will be able to probably make them a real company. I'm not trying to be mean to Hi-Rez, but like, Hi-Rez isn't really the company you think of when you think of, like, there's no specific genre that you think of and you're like, man, yeah, Hi-Rez does that the best. A hero shooter, yeah, Hi-Rez does that the best. Not, right? Okay, well, MOBA, not. Come on, like, let's be real. Arena fighter, sorry, no. Tag shooter, no. Okay, so they just have like these middling products that are all kind of okay, and they have their own small audiences, but they've always been that company that if they put too much money and too much stock into a game, then it will probably need to be shut down because it costs too much for them to continue maintaining it. I don't know really how much, like, numbers-wise, how much they've really spent on Paladins over the game isn't, like, visually impressive. It used to run on the Switch. It doesn't have a very big dev team. And I can't think of what else would really make I can't think of something that would inherently make this game extremely expensive. Right? They have, like, the crossover skins, right? They have, like, the Ruby ones. I can't think of what other crossover skins, but they've had a few. But it's no Brawlhalla crossovers. How there's like Star Wars, Rayman, Ryu from Streets, Kazuya from Tech. You know, there's not that many crossovers. So I don't understand how this game didn't stand on its own two legs long enough and well enough to not be shut down. I can't say the same for their other games. I look at Rogue Company and looking at the numbers, it makes you want to fucking laugh. Divine Knockout, you look at the numbers, it makes you want to fucking laugh. This is the only one of the Hi-Rez shutdowns right now that when I look at it shutting down, it confuses me. It actually is a little baffling. But dead weight, if it's not making them money and it's just keeping them afloat, should probably be cut off so that you can continue to make money instead of having a 0% return on investment. Not even a 1%. If they're not really actively making money, like, yes, we're getting the employees paid with this. We're keeping the servers on with this. All right, let's keep it going. Like, you know, that's really no way to keep a company afloat, right? You want to see a company grow year on year. And if this company's never been able to do it with Evil Mojo's never really been able to get any bigger with Paladins, well, it's time for it to go. Another game shut down, or rather, end of life. Sad to see another one go. But at least this game had a long and healthy life with tons of players, community support, and dev support. You'll be missed, Paladins, when you shut down. But before you do, everyone who likes the game shouldn't just stop playing it. Everyone who likes the game should go hop on it right now and let the good times roll until they can't roll anymore. That's just how I see it. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish. Reacting to Paladins is dead. It's official. And the high res shutdown of Evil Mojo and maybe even the developers of Rogue Company and Realm Royale as well, signing out and saying,